What's up, people? It's Jonathan Lacey, and we're back with another episode of the Laced Up Podcast. And I know you guys said you really liked having Jarius on. So without that, hey, I got my boy right here. So Jarius gonna tell the people what's up.
Hey, what's up, family? Like Jonathan said, and I didn't even y'all really like the episode like that. So I mean, me and bro got to chopping it up, and we was like, man, like let's go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna be on here too long. I got another meeting to go to, but we're gonna go ahead and get into this topic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as many of you know, tomorrow, I plan on dropping this episode on Tuesday of January 26th. So yeah, it will make it. There'll be a year that Kobe Bryant has been passed away, man, and along with his daughter, Gigi, and and the rest of the people that were on the plane, like RIP to them, man, and really, it was tragic how everything just kind of went down, and honestly, I still can't believe it sometimes when I think about it. Like, man, Kobe Bryant is actually really gone, man. So man, like Jarius, where when you saw the news or you got the news, like did you how did you react to Kobe Bryant's death?
Well, let me tell y'all the story of how I found out. First and foremost, right? I literally remember. Shoot, what day was the 26th? Was the 26th a Sunday?
26 is on Sunday last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was on a Sunday. Matter of fact, bro, we had gotten out of church, and I
Hmm.
was with the girl I was dating at the time. We had went to a place on campus called the Den. Basically, it's like the little brother of Denny's. So I'm
Mm.
sitting there. We ordered like a burger or something. You know what I'm saying? Like we just got out of church. You know that afternoon Sunday meal. You feel me? So I'm scrolling on Twitter
Mm.
and I see the news. So, but the thing is though, it was by TMZ. So I was
Right.
like, I ain't gonna take that serious, right? So as I'm waiting for the burger to get made, I start seeing more and more like more and more news broadcast stations reporting, and these were official journals. And I looked at my girl I was dating at the time. I was like, babe, Kobe died in a helicopter accident, and she was like, what? She like, you lying? I'm like, no, like I'm so serious. Like he really just passed away in a helicopter accident. And literally, when I tell you, like, the more and more I kept seeing it, the more and more I couldn't believe it. Like, I wanted to cry, but I was so in shock at the fact that it really just happened. And then it made it even worse, knowing that why they were even on the plane was that they was going to practice.
Right. Exactly, man. So like that's honestly that's kind of like the same thing for me. I saw TMZ reported it, and I'm just thinking to myself, all right, I can't believe everything that TMZ say. So that's because sometimes they be capping a lot of the time,
Right.
and so and like you, I kept on scrolling, and people was like, "Yo, RIP to Code, can't believe he gone, man." I'm like, "Nah, man." I said, "This dude's really gone, man." And then I saw where like the NBA, everybody when they found out that Kobe had passed, man, they was like, "This is." They can't believe it, man. And the crazy thing about all of it though, the night before, Kobe, LeBron James had just passed Kobe in
Right.
scoring, and Kobe, I believe, Kobe was there to watch it happen too.
Yeah.
And like Kobe, of course, had nothing but great things to say about that. Because I mean, like getting passed by arguably one of the best to play the game, and it's just crazy how that next day he was gone, and just the way it happened, man.
Yeah.
Um, Hey, I'll be honest. I cried when I found out because I said, "Yo, that's he was really him and Shaq were the two that got me into basketball like that." Just
Yeah. It was,
just watching them as kids growing up, like when number 8 Kobe, like when he was still maturing and stuff, yo,
Okay,
that oh my god, man, it tore me up. It tore
the
me up,
boy
and
always been a problem.
I wasn't sitting right for
Uh,
that first week. Mm-mm.
bro, when I tell you, like, I really tried to cry. Like, I legitly tried to cry, and I could not at all, bro. And I woke up the next day hoping that that joint won't real, and I kept saying, Kobe really gone? Like, especially we was all just coming into 2020. Honestly, I'll tell you this. That was the beginning of when I kind of felt like 2020 was starting to take a turn for the worse.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That started it all, really. You think about like because Kobe,
Mm,
when you got somebody that caliber, just that legendary, that impactful around the like global, not just in the United States, global.
yeah,
He impacted millions, probably billions of lives, man. And I know, like, like personally for me, like Kobe was he was my favorite. He's my goat. In my book, he's my goat.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I love Kobe Bryant, and like a lot of people, I told Brady last week, I was like, yo, I went and got the Mamba Mentality book that day, like
Yeah.
last Thursday. I went and got it, and man, dude, just being able to pick his mind. Oh man, and that's just a glimpse of it. Like I can only imagine to carry on a conversation with Kobe Bryant in person.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that would be like, man. But oh my gosh, man. But like I want to talk like two games that stuck out to me the most over Kobe Bryant's career was definitely the 81-point game against Toronto Raptors, and then his last game and his against the Utah Jazz when he dropped 60 points. Like
Mm.
I I just remember I think it was it 2006 when he dropped 81 on the Raptors.
Uh, want to say yes.
I think it was
Yeah,
yeah,
he dropped
2006.
it on him before he switched jerseys.
Right. Mhm. Cuz he was going in on them, and Jalen Rose, he was saying like, "Yo, this man, he said something, he just knew something was like it was just going to happen that night." And Kobe couldn't miss. Kobe could
Bro,
not miss, man.
bro, here's the thing. I seen another tweet the other day when they was talking about like Kobe tweeting watching back the highlights or watching back the game. Kobe literally said he was like that he missed more than 10 easy shots. He could have had 100 that night.
And that's scary to even think about. And that's like the thing too, like like you bringing up that like that comment that he made. He's like he always was looking for ways to get better, and he was never satisfied with like he dropped 81 that game, and obviously in that matter he was like, man, I could have dropped 100. Like
Yeah,
he knew that, and he knows that, and I think that kind of like ate him up on the inside. But no one's dropping 81 like that, man. Like, we haven't seen the most we've seen so far. I think is like a 70-point game from Devin Booker. And now I'm not trying to downplay that because that 70 points is for one individual, you a bucket. Devin Booker is a bucket. But Kobe Bryant dropping 81 points, and we haven't seen anything like that since, man. And it's been now, yeah, I think it's been
close to
16,
yeah,
15
close
years.
to 50 years. Yeah, close
So
to 50.
that's crazy, man.
I mean, yeah, bro, like it's definitely true, man. Like, and it's crazy when you go back and look at the game. The Lakers needed all 81.
Oh yeah, they did.
If they, if Kobe wouldn't have scored 81 points, bro, they would not have won that game.
Facts. And it's just crazy too, man. Like because you see all these other players in like in different uniforms, throughout their career. Like even with LeBron, he's on his third team now.
Right.
Kobe stayed with the Lakers for all 20 years, and he just has so many legendary moments, man. Like, and it's hard to just talk about all of them because I know a lot of people don't like listening to like long podcasts, so I get
Yeah,
that. But yeah, like just these two games, like like and moving on to like the 60-point game. I remember telling my boy Josh, like Josh Reese, shout out to that boy. Um,
yeah.
he I remember telling him that night, man, I was like, yo, what if this, because I knew it was gonna be his last game because he was it was during the Kobe farewell tour.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, man, what if this dude dropped 60 points tonight? I said, how crazy would that be? And then
Oh, you said
sure enough, yeah, I literally said it. And like Josh, when he listens to this, he's gonna be like, yep, I know. Because I literally said, what if this man drops 60 points? And sure enough, watching the game, this man hit that last free throw, put him at 60 points. I was like, good grief, man. Like
that?
that's Kobe, man. That's
It
just
is cool.
Kobe. And he went out in perfect Kobe fashion, man. And it sucks that near the end of his career, the injuries kind of
Yeah.
plagued his career, but he showed us glimpses that he was a dog, man. He
Oh
was a
yeah.
dog. And no
Oh
one,
yeah.
I just, it's gonna be a long time, I feel, before we ever see another Kobe Bryant. I don't know if we ever will, because he Kobe was our MJ.
Oh, of course.
He was our MJ.
Of
L-
course.
Both of them, and like just the competitive spirits that they had. I just you're not gonna see that, man. Like, and no offense to LeBron, but LeBron, he he just doesn't have that meanness to him like
No,
Kobe does.
no, he don't. He don't.
Kobe wasn't like, he'll be friends with you off the court, but like Kobe on the court, man, he was going to do everything he could to get into your head and throw you off your game. Because I think once like Tony Parker, I just watched the documentary with him on Netflix, man, and Tony was talking about how Kobe literally learned French to talk to Tony Parker to throw him off, and Tony was like, "What?" Like, he said, "This dude's speaking my language."
Eh, That's
So like,
why.
that's Kobe. That was cold, man. And
That
he
is Kobe. That's definitely a
and
Kobe-esque move.
and Luka Doncic, he was talking about how I think it was one of the games last like 2 years ago. He said Kobe was on the side. Well, he didn't even know Kobe was on the sideline, but he heard somebody just like talking in his language, and he said he turned around, and it was Kobe Bryant. Like, he like Kobe. That's one thing about him. He always embraced culture around
Yeah.
him. Like, he was willing to learn different languages, anything. Like, that's just him, and he was a smart man. I think that kind of gets overlooked about
Bro,
how
that,
intelligent he.
definitely. The thing is though, bro, like, and like you said, it gets overlooked so much that people forget that besides his basketball talent, him coming out of high school,
Oh,
he got accepted into Duke.
yeah.
Outside of basketball, he got accepted into Duke. And people are, like you said, they forget of how intelligent he was and how quickly he would pick up on anything in an instant. I mean, obviously it showed in, like you said, even with the book, and even his career after basketball. People literally brought him on to talk shows, commercials, podcasts, literally just to talk about his mindset and how he was as a person.
Exactly. And
You
Kobe,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, like Kobe, he he just it just amazes me how that aspect of his life kind of gets overlooked, man, because I watched a video. This dude was in high school and he had to give a speech, and when I tell you this man just brought it, and like he had so much swagger when he walked up there to present, because everybody before him was like, just nervous, shaking in their boots. And this dude walked up there, killed it, and had everybody
Mm-hmm.
hooked in, man. And I forgot the topic he was talking about, man, but Kobe, like he was raw, man. Like he just all his the Mamba mentality that we all talk about. He approached everything to give it his all. And
Yeah.
that's why I think like the correlation between the similarity with him and MJ always gave everything his all, and um so did Kobe. So like it's just I just see so many similarities between them. But Kobe for me, I got to see him growing up from the time he was a kid until the time he left as as an old man. And he impacted me, like not just in the game of basketball, but I think like in my life, he definitely impacted me to, just try, like, give your best to everything that you do, man.
100%, bro. I couldn't honestly. I can't say it even better. I couldn't say it no better than what you just said, bro. At all.
No, like that's it, man. And like let's talk about like the historic duos between him. Like everybody know the one of them is definitely him and Shaq, but the other one that kind of gets overlooked, Pau Gasol, man.
Yes, sir.
Like Pau was that dude, man.
Man, I put it like this, and people can attempt to crucify me or whatever. That's my opinion. I would say the time where Kobe had power was like if you had a slim version of Shaq, less dominant. I can't say he's as dominant as that,
Mm.
but less dominant white Shaq with a curly afro with a jump shot.
Facts,
Like that's
facts,
literally
yo.
what it was. I mean, cause granted, like Powell did everything Shaq could do, but
Hmm.
and with him that at least I didn't see was that Powell could take over a game like Shaq could.
Yeah, like Pau, he definitely, I think, and this is a whole nother subject I could talk about, but like the Euro League players, man, players overseas, man, they are and just fundamentally sound. And
Yeah,
I think you're going to see Luka Doncic. He's going to be the best player in the league in probably the next 2 or 3 years. He's going to be the best player.
I would agree.
And I think you're going to see European players are going to start taking over. And really, I think Dirk Nowitzki, um, and Paul Gasol, they were really two big players that kind of open up the doors
Yeah,
for a lot of these European players to come over and start playing in the league and really start dominating, because people like to put Manu Ginobili in that European player talk, but people don't realize I'm 99.9% sure Manu Ginobili is Argentinian. Like he's not
yes,
European. Like,
yes,
yeah, he's not European. So, you know, like you got players like Tony Parker, Pau Gasol, and Dirk Nowitzki. Those
mm,
three definitely open up the door for guys like that. And and just like with the duo, Kobe, they dominated that triangle.
yes,
They dominated in that, man. Like you said, I think Pau Gasol ran it to a T, where he could either score in the triangle or he can dish it off to Kobe for a three, or if Kobe was cutting, or Derek Fisher, he might have been at the top, or
mm,
whatever, man.
yeah.
Like they were going to find a ways to score, and that's just no one can stop it, man.
And yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that because the thing about it, and I learned this through the Last Dance documentary as far as the
Mm-hmm.
triangle goes. The triangle offense, obviously, the name is always somewhere. It's always a triangle somewhere. But the thing about it, what you need for it to work, you need an athletic scorer.
Yeah.
You need a big man that can either score or pass the ball. And you need a role, and you need somebody who's willing to be a role player. The Lakers had all of that.
They did.
and,
They did.
and that's exactly why, like, that system for them worked perfectly for them instead of when they had Shaq. Like, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, though, bro. Like,
It is, man. Kobe got 5 rings, man, from just running that.
Exactly.
Running the triangle. Because while Phil Jackson is the best ever basketball coach to ever coach, man. He's the best. And if anybody want to argue with me on that, you can come on the podcast and we can talk about it. All right. Like we can talk about it, because I'm telling you, that man alone has 11 rings. I'm pretty sure he has 11 rings in total. So, like it's just crazy though that Phil he knew he had blessed to have players like Michael Jordan and Kobe, but he also had, like you said, those perfect role players and those guys that bought in to what he was trying to coach. And that's why like you said, the proof is in the pudding, man. Like you got guys that are willing to accept their role and just buy into the system. You're going to produce champions, man. And that's all it was, man.
It was. I mean, because like you said, you looking at that team. Yes, Kobe was the face, but nobody on that team had an ego.
Right.
Like, that was different with Shaq. Shaq played from his ego.
Shaq did.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, he played from that. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't take away from Shaq as a player, because Shaq as a big man, he could dribble. He could pass. But the thing about the triangle offense, you have to have a team full of people that have no egos and are willing to be unselfish. And as selfish as we call Kobe is, Kobe wanted to win more than he cared about scoring. He only took over. Everybody else wasn't producing.
Exactly. And he'll be quick to call you out if you weren't.
100.
He didn't care about your feelings. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, MJ, same exact way. He did not care, because all they ultimately cared about winning. And if you weren't stepping up, he was going to do it.
Exactly.
And so, like, and he always betted on himself. Like, he said, like, hey, if you had to take the last shot, who you going to pass it to? He was like, man, I'm taking the last shot. I'm like, Kobe, like, come on, man. Like, Kobe he has so many game-winning shots in his career. It's not even funny, man.
Not, man. It's not.
That man, icy.
There's arguably, I was gonna say, there's arguably 2 or 3 more people that's more clutch than Kobe. We already know who the one is, but other than that, like, who else could we really say?
It's hard, man. It's hard because, real talk, I can
like, on a consistent basis. Let's put it better like that. Clutch on a consistent basis. There are clutch players, but on a consistent basis.
I can't think of one, man. Like, the only one at that point in time, but this was like a 3 or 4 year span with him, though, because he got in trouble, and then that's when his career kind of plagued, was Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas was hitting so many game-winning shots, and I remember watching him drop 60 points as a kid, and I'm just like, yo, this man's cold. He was cold. Agent Zero was cold. But,
and I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but he just can't. He can't. Kobe Bryant was a whole nother level, and I think Gilbert Arenas can, as big of an ego as Gilbert Arenas has, he can put his pride to the side, and I think he can actually admit that.
Oh yeah,
and he'll realize.
Well, like you said, one thing about it is Gilbert Arenas always been a real true dude. He speak his mind. He can tell the truth. That's one thing about. whether it's a player, him or on and off the court. Gilbert Arenas has said that and will continue to say that. Like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
Kobe was it. Like, you can't get no better than Kobe, at least for somebody that he played with. It was nobody else better than Kobe. Like, it
No
was
one
people
wasn't.
close, and it was people that had stellar careers. Like, I mean, like you said, bro, like there's no comparison at all.
Yeah, it's hard to give any comparisons, and I'm just looking at like thinking about I think the one of the most underrated teammates that kind of gets overlooked that he had, yo. You remember Lamar Odom, right?
I was just about to say it. I was like, hold on, you gotta talk about him.
Bro, Lamar Odom on that Lakers team, man. Him, like, honest to God, I would consider them a big three. Him and Powell
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Kobe and so I would consider those a big three because they were dominant. And Lamar Odom, before we had like really any 6'7", no, not 6'7", like 6'9", big guys like handling the ball like a point guard. Lamar Odom was doing that, and he had a killer shot. That left-handed joint
Oh yeah,
was wet
big fact.
every time, every time.
I mean, just like you said, bro, like especially during the early, mid, and late 2000s, there wasn't
Yeah,
nobody doing that. I think the only one that came before that was even close was Penny Hardaway, and even
yeah,
before that,
Penny.
Johnson.
Yep,
So it wasn't nobody really that was tall, like you said, that was handling the rock like that could play point, but also being at the smaller power forward at the same time.
yeah. It's hard, man, because and like obviously you got like KD who is like
Yeah,
7 feet tall doing his thing now, but oh my God, man, like Lamar Odom, he gets overlooked, and I think people they focused too much on, of course, like he had his struggles,
oh yeah,
with out off the court, and eh, honestly, I guarantee you, a lot of these players do have struggles off the court, and even now in today's
yeah.
game, but they just don't say anything about it, because they don't want to have that bad person view on them, or oh,
Oh yeah,
you're a terrible person and blah blah blah. Like I get, like, everybody goes through struggles and they have their downfalls, but Lamar Odom, I'm pretty sure he did ended up turning his life over to Christ, and
yeah, he
I'm
did.
pretty sure, yeah, he's doing way better now, and so like shout out to Lamar Odom for really, he allowed God to get his life back on track, man. So
Big facts, bro.
yeah, man.
I see it.
Um, but yeah, man, like, but just real quick though, I wanna ask you, what did Kobe Bryant mean to you though, as a player and as a as a person, just overall, really?
Huh, huh. Yeah. That's actually a loaded question. That's a loaded
I know,
question.
yeah. So like,
But
all right. So let's
I
go.
got
Like,
you. No, no, you good. I got you.
okay,
I got
okay.
you. Yeah. So I would say this. Like, everybody has that player that in the sport that you love that you really try to tailor everything after. To me, as far as growing up, that was Kobe. Like,
Hmm.
literally everything that he was doing, from the turnaround shots, I mean, to how he shot the ball, how he finger rolled, how he did reverse layups, bro. Like, I was doing all of this in in the driveway. So I would say, like, as
Hmm.
a player, like, Kobe influenced pretty much my whole game, other than as far as being a scorer. I mean, I was, like I said, I was a point guard, so I cared more about system rather than
Yep.
really scoring. But as far as like scoring and really doing stuff, like, bro, like, that was who I tailored it after. Like, he was really the reason why for a short period of time I was a Lakers fan.
Yep.
I mean, for everybody that don't know, I am a Chicago Bulls fan. I
Yep.
am a Chicago Bulls fan. We down right now, but that's all right. But um, but as far as for that short period of time, from I would say '07 to about 2010, I was a
Hmm.
Lakers fan just solely off Kobe. So I'll say player wise, like he influenced everything. I'll say as far as being a man, he influenced me for the fact of I don't, and I say this not to tarnish his name or anything, but it was a time back when Kobe was outed in the news for cheating on his wife.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
So from that time, obviously people look at you different. But the thing I can say about that is, and I said it for this reason, was for the fact he took that on the chin, and him and his wife worked everything out and were together up until the time he passed away. That
Yep.
stuff happened back in what 2003 or
Bro, we
2004.
were kids. Yeah, we were little
You
kids,
know what I'm
man.
saying? So for him in that aspect, yeah, like that showed me, like, yo, you work for what you want. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? As far as relationship wise, and other things, like you said before, the getting after it. Don't leave until you've perfected at least something.
Mm,
You know
mm.
what I'm saying? Like and that's what I seen from him. He didn't leave until he perfected what he was working on, whether that was a language, whether that was skills on the court, whatever the case may be, especially him as far as trying to perfect it as a father. Like him to his kids was Superman.
Yes.
There
Yep.
for all his kids' games, there for his kids' practices. He was teaching them all this other stuff. And I'm saying, and as a black man that has that notoriety, and you have nothing but girls as your kids,
Yep.
that's a lot of time.
It's true.
That's a lot of
It's
time.
true.
So he really, almost in a sense to me, he mastered the art of really balancing your time or balancing your day to where you
Hmm.
can complete everything that you want to do. And he was doing this during the season.
Which is crazy. Think about.
Exactly.
That's crazy to
He was
think
doing
about.
that during the season. So really everything about him as a man really has shown me that, like, yo, there's a possible way to everything.
It
There's a
is right.
and I'll say this and I'll leave it alone. This is how much of a perfectionist that Kobe was. Kobe was had I think he had a shootout before a game. I forget who it was. I want to say it was either against the Celtics or somewhere else. Um, he got in there early before everybody else, of course. And the guys, I guess the people that was doing maintenance on the course on the nets or whatever, he told the guy, he was like, "Hey, your goal's off by 2 inches." Like, you know how many shots you put up to know that a rim is off by 2 inches?
That you don't hear that. You just don't hear
You
that anymore,
don't.
man. You
You
don't.
don't because it's because and that's what showed me right there. I mean, obviously before the game of basketball, before in life, it's like, yo, you study to perfection.
Yes.
What you want
Hmm.
to truly be great at, you study that to perfection to where even the slightest things are off, you can tell.
Man, that you just drop like gems that I think like people like once they hear this, they're gonna be like, man, they like it's gonna make them think really, I believe, because ultimately it just goes back to the mama mentality. Like
Exactly.
you like all that summed up is the mama mentality that
Exactly.
Kobe possessed as a person, like this as like in his fatherhood, his with him being a player, teammate, husband, like when and you see like a lot of now like I think the divorce rate is like up to like 60-70%, I believe. And like when that happened with Kobe, like when he messed up and
Mm-hmm.
he that could have easily, like that could have derailed him.
Yeah.
He could have turned for the worse. But
Yeah.
Kobe attacked it like a man, and he he put his chin down and just walked. He went through it, man. Like and him
Exactly.
and his wife, man. You could definitely tell by the time he left this earth, he loved his wife and
Oh,
his kids.
yeah.
He did. And you know, Kobe, I know like for me and recently like in my life too, man, Kobe has shown me that you anything that you do, you got to give it your 100%. And
Yeah.
there's going to be times and days where it's just going to be hard and you just don't feel like you don't feel like showing up.
Yeah.
But I'm telling like you're gonna be once it's all over with, and once you show up and it's all over with, man, you're gonna be so happy that you did show up in the
Exactly.
end, and you got you even if you got like I like I don't know like like a 1% better, like that's still better than nothing. And
Yeah.
Kobe, like you said, man, I think the difference between him and just like other people that kind of settle for mediocre. A lot of people go outside and they'll be like, "Oh, for my basketball workout, I put up 800 shots." Kobe
Hmm.
is I put up 800 shots, but I have to make them. I have to make 800,
Right.
and that's Kobe. That's
Yeah.
Kobe, man. Like he was not going to leave until he hit that. Like until he got to where his goal, and he set the bar high for himself all the time. As I think all of us should. We should set the bar
Oh,
high for anything that we do. And if we're going out into something, just half-hearted and with a negative attitude, they don't even show up, man. Just don't,
exactly.
because like you screwing yourself over before you even get into that whole situation.
Yeah.
So Kobe, like, I just like I want to wrap it up. Kobe left his mark on all of us in this world. He left his mark definitely on the game of basketball, but um, for those people that just followed Kobe deeper than the game of basketball, he showed us so many life lessons that we can just keep on learning more and more and more each day from this man, because even down here when I work out, man, I'll hop on the treadmill, and sometimes, man, I could be on 2 miles and trying to get to mile three. I was like, man, I'm tired, but I throw on a Kobe Bryant workout video and just like just him just talking,
Yeah.
dude. It's hard to stop when you got that. So you got that in front of you. It's hard to stop. And so like
Yeah.
Kobe just always motivated me, man. And I can just say like to the day I die, man, I'm gonna keep on giving it that mommy mentality till the day I leave this earth.
Got
And
to.
I know it's gonna be hard sometimes, but not even sometimes. It's probably gonna be harder than like easier times, quote unquote. But I know one, I got God on my side,
100%.
and God, He blessed us enough to live in a time where we got to see Kobe Bryant play, and just his actions and his approach to the game of basketball and life. And we can learn so much from that man.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be crazy to go through a life, man, not really giving everything 100%. And I don't want to leave anything on the table to say, what if I did this? What if I did that? Like I just like just do it. As simple as that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's exactly it right there, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So you know, I'm so glad though, like because this came over me because I've been planning this since December to do a
Yeah.
Kobe tribute show, man. And I'm so thankful that I have this platform to talk to talk to you, talk to really anybody, man. Because I got an interview on Thursday coming up with it's gonna be for my hip hop junkies out there.
Mm.
I follow this guy on Instagram because he goes by the name of hip hop's biggest fan, and you check out his YouTube channel. I genuinely believe that he is hip hop's biggest fan, and he I'm excited just to chop it up with him and just really just talk about like how hip hop has impacted his life. And this is going it's going to be a dope show on Thursday,
Well,
man. So definitely though, man, Jarius, thank you for stopping through again, man, and really just getting to talk about this great person of Kobe Bryant, man, and just the
Oh,
life and legacy that he left behind.
oh yeah. Definitely 100% again. Thank you for having me on once more, man. It's always good chopping it up. And I want to leave everyone with this quote. It isn't from Kobe, but it's from another great Muhammad Ali. And our trainer in high school had his post up, and the poster quoted is "Suffer now, forever be a champion."
Mm,
So I want to leave y'all with that. So whatever area that you're working in, whether that's business, sports, analytics, whatever the case may be, pain is temporary. Suffer that now, and forever be great in what you do.
simple as that, people. It's simple, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yo, I'm not even gonna say anything else. People, thank you for tuning in, and make sure if you're listening on Apple, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast and leave a review and help us, to help me really to help you and make this podcast better and really, let's help this podcast grow, man.
Blow it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Love you guys. Peace.